Sacred geometry is the philosophical and spiritual study of the mathematical relationships and spatial forms that manifest in all levels of reality, from the subatomic to the galactic. It operates on the premise that these forms carry an inherent significance, pattern, and energetic resonance, acting as the fundamental ordering principles of the cosmos. The term was popularized in the 20th century, but this notion and full understanding was present in all the ancient religions of the gods and civilizations. Number is all. These are the holy words of the Pythagoreans. This statement made over 2,000 years ago has only been proven more deeply insightful and wise with the passage of time and development of the sciences. Pythagoras understood the inner fundamentals of the mechanics of existence that even the most brilliant minds today are only starting to grasp. Beyond mathematics, as incredible and important as they are, lies a deeper use of numbers. Numerology. The study of how mathematical relationships are not arbitrary, but expressions of divine order. Numbers are not merely quantities, but represent functions and principles that govern the reality we inhabit. Temple of Zeus is the last and only source of sacred and divine knowledge on all of these subjects, directly transferred from the mouths of the gods. Treating mathematics as a descriptive tool is to be understood as a level 1 that is limitless, while level 2 consists in understanding it as key to underlying universal causes. The golden section, pi, is a fundamental irrational function in sacred geometry, central to understanding creation and manifestation. It is generated from the ancient Egyptian primordial scission, when unity divides into unequal parts. Phi governs proportions in countless living organisms, spirals in galaxies, planetary orbits, and the construction of Greek temples. Ancient Egyptians, from the earliest dynasties, knew and used Phi and Fibonacci numbers, which devolved from Phi, in their architecture and divine art. In ancient Egypt, the construction of the great pyramids and temple complexes like Karnak, Luxor Temple, demonstrate an intricate understanding of star alignments, precise angles, and proportions rooted in divine geometric principles. And they all mirror the anatomy of man and fabric of reality. The Parthenon in ancient Greece is another prime example of the golden ratio in practice, with its facade, column spacing, and overall proportions meticulously designed to achieve visual perfection and divine harmony. Another instance of this is the pentagon, which depicts the principial form surrounded by 12 houses, the animators of form. This understanding is also common to many ancient civilizations. The Egyptian physiological system is based upon it. These canals, by cosmic flux and reflux, conduct the red and white solar energy to the areas where the 12 powers lie sleeping within the organs of the body. Once every 2 hours of the night and day, each is activated by the passage of Ra, the son of the blood, and it then returns to sleep. Chinese acupuncture is based upon the 12 meridians of the body. Every 2 hours, one or the other of these meridians reaches peak activity. The 12 houses of the astrological zodiac express the same understanding in another way. Egyptian hieroglyphs conveyed a hermetic symbolism based on perfect numerology. Studies of biometrics, the study of human measures, show directly that these correspond very closely to the measures consistently employed in ancient Egypt. These measures conform to a formal science. That is, proportion was never a matter of individual artistic preference. These proportions are in turn commanded by the interplay of harmonic series, a fact unknown to biometricians who operate empirically and statistically. The various sections of the human body stand in complex but always harmonious relationship to each other. These relationships are incorporated in the proportions of the ancient Egyptian temples themselves. There is manifestation of terrestrial and cosmic measures, as well as rhythms of natures, the motions of heavenly bodies, and specific astronomical periods. They form relationships between stars, planets, metals, colors, sounds, as well as between types of animals and parts of the human body. These are codes and only revealed to the initiate through a whole science of numbers. Similarly, De Divina Proportione, illustrated by Da Vinci, extensively elucidated mathematical proportion in its direct relation to artistic patterns and forms. The golden ratio was made to be the ultimate divine proportion. Sacred patterns of reality are not merely aesthetically pleasing coincidences, but represent optimized solution for biological growth, resource allocation, and overall efficiency in nature. This is the allowance of life and the creative principle manifestation. For instance, the Fibonacci arrangement in sunflowers is not arbitrary. It actively helps sunflowers pack in as many seeds as possible and make sure they have plenty of room to grow and reproduce. Similarly, the golden angle, approximately 137.5 degrees, in phyllotaxis, the arrangement of leaves on a plant stem, is vital for ensuring maximal efficiency in plant life forms. This specific angle produces a near-perfect packing of primordia, the earliest recognizable stages of leaves or flowers, thereby minimizing overlap and maximizing exposure to sunlight for each leaf. The animal kingdom offers further examples. The remarkable logarithmic spiral of a nautilus shell perfectly adheres to the golden ratio, accommodating growth while maintaining its form. The hexagonal cells of a beehive are the manifestation of maximal life force creative efficiency. The five-fold radial symmetry found in starfish and sea anemones are manifestations of the same dimensional spiritual dominators. Ancient geometry rests on no axioms or assumptions. Unlike Euclidean and the more recent geometries, the starting point of ancient geometric thought is not a nerdy network of intellectual definitions or abstractions, but instead a meditation upon a metaphysical unity, theurgical with the gods, that later its manifestation comes in defined science and mathematics. Plato regarded geometry as sacred. The heading of the Egyptian Rind papyrus promises rules for inquiring into nature and for knowing all that exists, every mystery, every secret. Plato's supreme god of the universe created order from the primordial chaos of these elements by means of the essential forms and numbers. The ordering according to number and form on a higher plane resulted in the intended manifestation of the five elements in the physical universe. The essential forms and numbers are manifestors as interface between the higher and lower realms. Hindu mythology speaks of the 9 cobras of Brahma, a parallel to the Grand Ennead arranged around Atum. These are sacred numerologies and geometries that describe and make reality understood by spiritual wisdom transference. Finally, in this video, we will relate the knowledge made available only by the high priest hooded cobra in Temple of Zeus for the initiated Zevists by reading the sermon titled Numerology. The core meanings of basic numbers. 1 to 10. Numerology is important for any aspiring occultist, and it is necessary to know the properties of numbers to progress spiritually in your workings. In this section, you will find information about the numbers. Most of this information circulating the web is based on Hebrew sources and has been quite inaccurate, with clear information hardly existing. Some of it is not only inaccurate, but terrible, and should be avoided at all costs. Angelic numbers and the like are in this category of foul abominations that the enemy has created. After very elaborate research and practice, only the real properties of numbers will be shared here, which, contrary to many sources that have a lot of corrupted elements, will begin from basic, all the way towards the advanced section. The basic section is the beginning of this. This section should be credited to Azazel, Apollo, first and foremost. The Temple of Zeus is strongly under the overseeing of Azazel. Beelzebul, Zeus, has helped considerably to fulfill this work, which has been in experimental phase for a few years. Now this knowledge will come out. Both have helped rectify the meaning of numbers and their properties, helping in the rectification of this knowledge so that it contains only true knowledge. To explain a little about the furthering of the numerology section, which will happen gradually, pay close attention to how the different nations followed different numerals. So a lot of people who write things, for example, about the shape of numbers, are only analyzing surface scrap in most cases, and nothing else. Certain core properties will be more obvious. Some others might require thought on the behalf of the reader, and other properties that you can derive from these properties below are to be given to you by the gods when the time is right. Not for idle thought and juvenile nonsense, but for those who truly understand what is meant here. Certain words might not make sense, but they will make sense as you progress. The translation and etymology of these words of choice have been chosen with great care. The core properties of numbers. 1. The all, divine monad, undivided, command, the point in infinity, universe, source of creation, primary cause. Second duality, separation, discord, relationship, creation, destruction, imperfect, positive, negative, first division, the parting. 3. Spirit, divinity, trine force, a perfect number, first union, divine holy trinity, Ea, Enlil, Anu, Poseidon, Zeus, Hades, etc., trinity of the worlds. Fourth order, justice, four directions of the physical, the boundary, four elements without ether, sub-basis of the material world. 5. The five elements, union, connection, eros, shape and form, beauty, splendor, balance, harmony. 6. Material and spiritual, connection, life, stability, habituation, karmic, marriage, macrocosmic, microcosmic, cleanliness, virginity. 7. Karma, consequence, goddess nemesis, purification, the divine scale, defense of the just, luck, birth of mind. 8. Mystery, drive, power, permanence, firm foundation, the hidden sphere, divine mother, supernal justice, multiplication, ad infinitum. 9. Finish, the ultimate point, the image, perfection, the end, coming to closure, the birth, death, power, capstone, peak, completion. 10. A key, all in all, fate and karma, an end of path, double union, universe, pan, cosmos, perfection, the self-created one, divine father, totality. It is normal to currently have many questions, so you can ask in the comments. But be aware that more clarifications will arrive in the future updates of these sections. High Priest Hooded Cobra 666. To learn more and become an initiate of Temple of Zeus, visit our forum and site, Ancient Forums.